Have you ever felt a strange weight in the air around you, as if something unseen was watching, guiding, even testing you? Moments when the world feels slightly off, when ordinary life no longer satisfies your soul. If you've been sensing this shift, it's not random, because only 1 in 10,000 carry a mark of divine assignment, and that mark may already be written on your life. In this video, we'll uncover 5 undeniable signs that prove you are one of the chosen ones. Not everyone will see them, not everyone will understand, but if you've been wrestling with questions about who you are, why you've been preserved, and what heaven is whispering to you, these signs will bring clarity, and you must stay until the very end, because the final sign is the one most chosen ones completely overlook, yet it carries the power to shift your destiny. If your spirit is already stirring, if something inside you says this message is for you, like this video right now, subscribe to this channel. Every time you do, it helps this message reach other chosen ones. And type 777 in the comments. Why 777? Because it's the number of spiritual alignment. Declaring it is like unlocking a door in your own life. Now let's begin. The first sign may already explain why you've never felt at home in the ordinary world. But as we go deeper, each one will pull you closer to the truth of your divine assignment. And remember, the last one is the one that changes everything. Number 1. The restless spirit. From a young age, you probably noticed it. That sense that no matter what you achieve, something always feels missing. You can be in a room full of laughter, yet deep inside, you feel like a stranger. Not because you're broken or ungrateful, but because your spirit knows something your mind cannot explain. It's the pull of destiny, like trying to cage a lion as if it were a house cat. The lion may sit still for a moment, but sooner or later, it roars. That's what your restlessness really is, heaven reminding you that you were never built for mediocrity. Have you tried to silence it? Maybe thinking, if I get a better job, a nicer car, the perfect family, then I'll feel complete. But the more you chase temporary fixes, the louder it grows, because it's not a void possessions or people can fill. It's a divine signal pointing to a greater assignment. Think of Moses in Pharaoh's palace. He had wealth and privilege, yet was never satisfied. That restlessness pushed him into the wilderness, where God revealed his mission. Your discontent is not failure. It's divine preparation. Here's the danger: if you misread it, you'll believe something is wrong with you. You'll compare yourself to others who seem content. But not everyone is called to carry what you carry. That's why only 1 in 10,000 feels this so deeply. It's not a curse, it's a calling. So what should you do? First, stop numbing it with distractions. Instead, lean in and ask, what is this restlessness trying to show me? What part of my destiny is being unlocked right now? Second, watch for patterns. Where does your spirit come alive, helping, creating, teaching, leading, healing? Restlessness is like a compass. It won't let you stay in the wrong direction. And third, embrace the discomfort. It signals your old season is ending and a new one is about to begin, like a butterfly in its cocoon. The struggle is what forms the wings. Your spirit is restless because wings are forming. And here's the hidden gift. Restlessness also protects you. If you could be satisfied with less, you would settle too soon. Restlessness keeps you stretching until you align with your purpose. So if you've been frustrated with life, hear this. You are not failing, you are being marked, and this mark sets you apart. But if this first sign already resonates deeply, wait until you hear the next one, because the restless spirit explains why you're searching. The next sign reveals why you've been preserved, and that truth may shake you to the core. Number 2, the unexplainable protection. Think back over your life. Moments where, by all logic, things should have ended differently. The accident that should have taken you, the sickness that should have broken you, the betrayal that should have destroyed you. And yet, you walked out, not untouched, but undeniably preserved. It's like walking through fire and realizing you don't even smell like smoke. Like standing at the edge of disaster, and a hand you couldn't see pulled you back. This is not coincidence. It is divine protection surrounding those with an assignment. Many chosen ones miss this. They focus on scars, wondering why they had to suffer. But scars are proof you survived what others could not. You weren't spared every battle, but preserved through them. That's the difference. How many times have you said, "If things had gone slightly differently, I wouldn't be here"? That's not luck. That's preservation. Heaven has kept you alive for a reason beyond yourself. Picture a priceless artifact in a museum. Even if walls crumble and dust fills the air, it's wrapped and guarded day and night. That's you. Storms may rage, but the fact you are still here proves your value. Heaven guards what heaven assigns. Protection doesn't mean exemption. Chosen ones still face pain, betrayal, loss, even near-death moments. But what should have destroyed you shaped you. What should have silenced you gave you a stronger voice. What should have ended you pushed you closer to calling. Some of you know exactly what this means. You've survived situations no one can explain. Even you can't explain it. But deep down, you know a greater hand was at work. Your survival is not random. It's proof your story isn't finished. So stop treating your survival like an accident. Start treating it like an assignment. When you remember the pain, ask, why was I preserved? What is still waiting for me to accomplish? Because preservation always points to purpose. If heaven went to such lengths to protect you, your life carries weight you cannot yet see. Your calling is not just to survive, but to fulfill the mission you were kept alive for. And protection shows up in many ways, sometimes physical, escaping what should have ended you. Sometimes emotional, peace arriving when you were collapsing. Sometimes financial, provision when everything seemed lost. Sometimes spiritual, strength rising when darkness pressed in. All part of the same pattern, unexplainable protection for a chosen assignment. Now let me open a loop. If you've been preserved, it's not just so you can say, "I survived." It's because there is a reason, and that reason is about to come into focus. The next sign will explain the heavy burden you've carried, a weight that isn't even yours, yet has followed you your whole life. Number 3, the burden of compassion. If you are truly marked, you've probably felt this for years. It begins quietly. Maybe you cry when others don't. Maybe you feel the pain of someone across the room without them saying a word. Maybe you've carried struggles that weren't even yours. It's like walking with an invisible backpack filled with tears that don't belong to you. And you've wondered, why do I feel everything so deeply? Why can't I live carefree like others? The answer is heavy but simple. Chosen ones are called to carry burdens that awaken their assignment. Think about Jesus weeping at Lazarus's tomb, even though he knew resurrection was near. Why? Because chosen ones carry compassion that connects them to heaven's heart. It's not weakness, it's evidence of alignment. But the world rarely understands this. Some will call you too sensitive, others, too emotional. Yet what they see as weakness is your greatest strength. Compassion is the gateway to miracles. If you don't feel pain, you won't move to heal it. If you don't sense wounds, you won't step into your role as the answer. This burden can feel crushing. You wake up heavy, go to bed heavy, not because of your own story, but because you sense the struggles of many. Chosen ones don't just carry themselves, they carry pieces of the world. That's why you've always felt different. So how do you handle this burden? First, don't drown in it. You're called to carry, not collapse. The burden isn't meant to destroy you but to direct you. When it weighs on you, channel it. Ask, who can I serve right now? Where can I turn this compassion into action? Second, protect your spirit. Compassion without boundaries leads to burnout. You're not called to fix everything, only to respond where heaven leads. Sometimes with a word, sometimes a prayer, sometimes a simple act of kindness. Third, recognize compassion as preparation. Heaven doesn't place burdens on those who cannot carry them. The fact you feel so deeply means you've been entrusted with heaven's heart. That is no small thing. It's proof you are set apart. The enemy often tries to twist this into shame. He whispers, "You're weak, you're broken." But your tears are a weapon, your empathy is an assignment, and your heart is the very thing heaven will use to change lives. Think of Joseph. Betrayal, slavery, and prison prepared him to feed nations in famine. In the same way, your burden is shaping you for a mission bigger than yourself. Now here's the loop. If the restless spirit explains your searching, and unexplainable protection explains your survival, then the burden of compassion explains your sensitivity. But what happens when that sensitivity leads to loneliness? Because compassion connects you to others, but can also isolate you when no one else understands. And that's what the next sign is about. The season of isolation, one of the hardest but most necessary marks of a chosen life. Number 4. The season of isolation. Every chosen one goes through it. That season when suddenly everything grows quiet, friends drift away, opportunities close. Even those who once understood you seem distant, as if they no longer speak your language. It's a strange time. You're surrounded by people, yet feel invisible. You speak, but no one truly hears you. And you wonder, what's wrong with me? Why don't I belong anywhere? But nothing is wrong. Everything is happening as it should, because isolation is heaven's training ground. Think of a seed. Before it breaks through the soil, it spends its most critical season underground, hidden, buried in darkness. It looks like nothing is happening, yet roots dig deep and strength forms. Without that season, the seed could never withstand the storms above. That's what's happening in your life. Isolation is not punishment, it's preparation. Chosen ones often face this right before stepping into a new assignment. Old friendships fade, comfortable places feel suffocating. It's not rejection, it's redirection. Heaven is making space for new identity and strength to take root. But let's be real. Isolation hurts. Nights feel longer. Prayers unanswered. Even God may feel silent. And yet, in that silence, the deepest transformation happens. When the voices of people fade, the voice of heaven grows clearer. Look at the pattern. Moses in the desert before leading a nation. David with sheep before becoming king. Even Jesus in the wilderness before his ministry. Every chosen one must pass through isolation, not as a curse, but as preparation for destiny. So how do you handle it? First, stop fighting it. The more you resist, the longer it feels. Instead, embrace it. Say, "This is my cocoon. I may be hidden now, but wings are forming." Second, use this time to deepen your roots. Study, pray, reflect. This is not wasted time, it's investment time. Third, release the need for validation. Isolation teaches you to hear heaven above the noise. If you depend on affirmation, you'll never walk your path. But once you learn to stand alone, you'll be unstoppable when called to stand before others. And here's the hidden gift. Isolation reveals who truly belongs. When destiny calls, not everyone can go with you. It filters distractions and exposes those never aligned with your assignment. I know it feels lonely, like the world has forgotten you, but heaven has not. This season is not your ending, it's your refining. And here's the loop. Isolation may strip you down, but it's also where something new awakens. Gifts, abilities, strength you never knew you had. Because when the old falls away, heaven unlocks the tools you'll need for the future. And that takes us to the final sign, the sudden unlocking of spiritual gifts, the most ignored, yet the most powerful. Not just pointing to your present, but directly to your destiny. Number 5, the sudden unlocking of gifts. This is the one most chosen ones overlook. And yet, it is the clearest confirmation that heaven has marked your life. Here's how it happens. You're living your ordinary life when suddenly something shifts. An ability rises inside you you cannot explain. It doesn't come from study or effort. It comes like a river breaking through a dam, unstoppable, undeniable. Maybe for you it's words. You speak and hearts are pierced. Maybe it's dreams, visions in the night that unfold exactly as you saw them. Maybe it's discernment, sensing motives, spiritual tension, hidden truths. Or perhaps healing, creativity, leadership, visions of a resilience. Whatever it is, when gifts unlock, you know. It feels like stepping into a new skin, like remembering something you always carried. It's both exhilarating and terrifying. Exhilarating because you finally see evidence of calling. Terrifying because responsibility suddenly feels real. These gifts are not random, not for entertainment or pride. They are weapons and tools, given to equip you for the assignment only you can fulfill. But when gifts awaken, they attract attention. Some will celebrate you. Others will envy or oppose you. That's why many run from their gifts. The weight feels too heavy. But running doesn't erase the mark, it only delays the mission. Think of Jeremiah. He said, "I tried to hold it in, but it was like fire shut up in my bones." That's what it feels like when gifts unlock. You can't silence them. You can't hide them. The more you resist, the heavier it becomes, until you finally surrender. And maybe that's you now. You've noticed things others don't. You've felt what others can't. You've seen your words or actions impact people in ways that shocked even you. That is not coincidence. That is the sudden unlocking of your gift. So what should you do? First, don't fear it. Difference is proof of destiny. If you looked like everyone else, you wouldn't be chosen. Second, train it. A gift unlocked is like a blade from the forge. It has power but must be sharpened and directed. Study, pray, practice, seek wisdom. And third, use it. The worst thing you can do is bury it. Remember the parable of the talents. The buried gift was lost, but those who used theirs multiplied. Your gift is not for you, but for the lives you're called to impact. Here's why this sign is the most important. When gifts unlock, they don't just confirm your past survival or present struggles, they point directly to your destiny. The restless spirit explained your searching. Unexplainable protection explained your survival. The burden of compassion explained your sensitivity. The season of isolation explained your preparation. But the sudden unlocking of gifts, this is the seal. Heaven saying, now you are ready. And here's the loop. If your gifts are beginning to unlock, it means your next season is about to unfold. But gifts are only the beginning. What you do with them will determine everything. And that, chosen one, is the greatest responsibility of all. You didn't find this message by accident. You were guided here. Think about it. Out of millions of videos, out of endless distractions, you landed here in this exact moment, listening to these words. That's not random. That's divine orchestration. The 5 signs we uncovered are not just information. They are confirmation. The restless spirit you've been wrestling with. The unexplainable protection that carried you through storms. The burden of compassion that feels heavy at times. The season of isolation that shaped your strength. And finally, the sudden unlocking of gifts now rising in your life. All of these are heaven's way of saying, you are chosen. You are part of the 1 in 10,000. And your assignment is waiting for you. But here's the challenge. What will you do with this revelation? Will you treat it as just another inspiring video? Or will you take it as a call to step into obedience, courage, and purpose? Chosen ones are not marked for comfort. They are marked for impact. You are not here to blend in. You are here to shift atmospheres, heal wounds, build what others only dream of, and stand as living proof that heaven still speaks, still moves, still calls. And yes, there will be resistance. There will be moments when you doubt everything you've heard today. But remember this, destiny doesn't wait for your feelings. It waits for your decision. So decide today. Decide that you will no longer run from your restlessness. Decide to honor your survival as proof of divine purpose. Decide that compassion is not weakness, but a gift. Decide that isolation was never rejection, but preparation. And decide that your gifts are not accidents. They are assignments. Now, before we close, I want you to do 2 things. First, if this message spoke to your spirit, Share it with another chosen one, someone you know has been wrestling with the same signs, and your act of sharing may be the confirmation they need. Second, leave a comment below with the words, "I carry the mark." Writing it is more than text on a screen. It's a declaration. It's a step of faith aligning your life with the truth you've just received. And as you do, don't leave just yet. There's another message waiting right here on the screen, one that will take you even deeper into the next phase of your journey. If you felt the power of this word, you don't want to miss what comes next. Click it now and let heaven continue guiding your steps. Because, chosen one, your story isn't over. It's only just beginning.